short weeks away, and Rumpure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in the NFL is just a few short weeks away, and Rumpure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rumpure Sports Showdown show. First day of NFL back. We got some sweats going on too. If you see an AJ Dillon touchdown in the chat, let me know. We got Kurt. I know he's sweating some Aaron Jones. We got Rubio. He's sweating some Rainmakers. It's a good time over here at Rumpure Sports, but we're here to talk some Showdown with you guys. Before we kind of dive into some things and talk to the guys, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. Also want to mention, we got that code NFL15. Get you 15% off for life on your monthly payments. So sign up now. If you sign up, you're locked in for us for life, and you get to hang out with us every single week, and you get that price all the time. Prices are going up over here at Rumpure, so it's a great time to do it. Be sure to jump in there. Let's bring in the boys. Let's hear how the sweating of the football went. Let's go over to you first, Rubio. How's your day? I know the Bengals lost, so you're probably a little sad over there. No parade for you tomorrow, but how is the day watching football?
Well, obviously with the Bengals losing, it was a little bit shitty. You know, I'm enjoying my Oktoberfest beer, though. I mean, that makes everything a little bit better. Going to celebrate Oktoberfest next week, so it should be a good time. But today, it's a day to drink the beer and forget. You know, I was high on Christian McCaffrey. I was high a little bit on like Randall Cobb, but you know what? I was high on Justin Jefferson too. So we can look at the highs and look at the lows, but I'm ready for Showdown. I got a bold take. I got a bold stance. So I'm ready to ship some, Mangone. How about you?
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear what that bold take is, the bold stance. Excited to talk some Showdown with you guys. Kurt, let's go on over to you. How is the game going today? How is the sweat? Sounds like you're interested in some Aaron Jones getting the job done here. How are you doing?
Got a smaller secondary single entry, a little sweat going. Would like Aaron Jones to fall in the end zone. That'd be nice. For MME, I feel like all my defensive exposure didn't have more than 5 points. Miss out on Steelers, miss out on Dolphins, stuff like that. And I had 35% Elijah Mitchell. That hurt. And like 30% Wan'Dale Robinson. That hurt. But I also have a little bit of a sleeper take here for tonight. So, you know, I'm ready to go. It looks like I'm going to fight to go even unless I ship this contest. So that'll be nice. And then we'll get the giblets tonight for Showdown.
Yeah, would definitely be nice to have a ship tonight. Speaking of having some ships, we had one in the Discord earlier today. It was from one of our members, Solo Viola 7. Nice little hit. Shipped $27,000 in the early slate. So, hey, listen, we're playing the afternoon slates. We're playing the Showdown slates, the mains. We're playing them all over here at Rumpure Sports. That's one reason to sign up. We got cores for everything. We got it all for you. But let's dive in and let's talk about this slate. I want to get your guys' takes on the sleepers, but before we do that, I want to talk about captains, and maybe they're a sleeper captain for you on the slate. Rubio, talk about the captains at the top, because we got a new situation in Dallas, right? Now it's just CeeDee Lamb is like the main guy in town. No Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. You know, We'll see what his ownership is going to be. Everyone normally hates playing him. I know Tony Pollard's priced up. We got Tom Brady on the slate with Mike Evans. I mean, we got all the stars are out tonight. So Rubio, give me your takes on the captain slot here.
I mean, the captain's definitely a little bit interesting today. With me being a little lower on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm looking at the top two guys for Dallas, CD Lamb and even Dak Prescott. I know I'm not like the biggest pocket passer at captain guy, and CD Lamb is a clear number one option tonight, along with Schultz a little bit too. So, I'm not really that excited with Dak at captain, but CD Lamb's a guy I'm high on. I know the Bucs run defense is pretty good too, but Zeke is going to be a guy I'm looking at too, just because he can get involved in the passing game. And then Dalton Schultz, I just think that price is kind of soft, and we've seen him put up some big games in the past, especially in the latter half of last season. I'm just kind of high on these Cowboys, and that's really where I'm going to be focusing on. No Amari Cooper, so I'm really expecting CD Lamb to take a big step this year, and that step has to begin tonight. It's against a Bucs defense that we spent all of last season targeting against. I know they were in a weak division. We couldn't really target against them when they were playing like the Saints and the Falcons and stuff and the Panthers, but now they get a decent passing attack going against them. I think this is going to be a prime opportunity for Lamb to get on the ground running, and I really think he has a big performance today. He's my number one guy at captain. And then, like I said, I'm going to have a little bit of exposure to Dak, Zeke, and Dalton Schultz, and maybe a splash of Evans, but I'm going to kind of keep it condensed today.
Cool. Sounds good. Kurt, let's go over to you. Captain slot. I heard Rubio talking about CD Lamb. Definitely someone that I have some interest in. CD Lamb's definitely going to be an option that I'm considering, but I'm curious to hear what your take is. What side are you on? You like the Bucs more? You like the Cowboys? What's your thoughts here on the captain slots, Kurt?
So I'm a Bucs fan, but there's going to be no bias here tonight. I don't have too much faith in us. Todd Bowles' defenses, you can attack the hell out of them over the middle. So I want to attack the middle. I'm hoping they'll kind of get a little bit cute with Lamb, move him around, have him in the slot a little bit. But I really want to attack these tight ends. Dalton Schultz, I'm okay with captaining him tonight, to be honest, because I feel like Jalen Tolbert just got rolled out. So it looks like the second receiver is going to be Noah Brown, I believe. So I think they're going to do a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. They're going to have a lot of formations with Pollard and Zeke in the backfield. So I'm going to have mostly Dallas captains. I have interest in captaining Fournette because I think he'll catch a lot of passes too if White's not ready for pass protection duties and stuff like that. So Lamb, Schultz, little Fournette, but it's going to be mostly Lamb and Schultz for me. I really think I want to have a little sleeper later, a little cheap guy sleeper, but that's where my captain's lying.
All right, so you're saying Lamb and you're saying Schultz. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay side a little bit, though, Kurt, right? Like, of course, like there's people watching. They might be big Tampa Bay fans tonight. You're a Tampa Bay fan yourself, but you're not as high on them. And I agree. I'm not as high on Tampa today. I'm not going out of my way right now to just say, hey, I really do think that this game is going to result in a Cowboys win. I am kind of concerned about that offensive line a little bit for the Buccaneers. And not saying the Cowboys is like the team that I definitely think is going to win tonight. If I had to place a bet, right, let's say I had $100 and you're giving me it, so just make a wager tonight, I'd probably put it on the Cowboys money line if I had to make a bet, but not making a bet on that, playing some showdown, seeing what happens. And I want to get some exposure to these Dallas guys. Now, trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. Maybe it's a 4-2 stack. Maybe it's a 2-4. But let's say you want to just go with the Bucs. Mike Evans. Is Tom Brady the guy? I mean, if you play Tom Brady and the captain, obviously that means he goes for like, probably a monster game. And if he does, then you're going to obviously need to have a bunch of those receivers peppered in there. So what's your overall thoughts with trying to play like that Bucs roulette? How would you handle these receivers?
I'm always low on Mike Evans, and sometimes it kills me, but if he doesn't score a touchdown, he usually doesn't go for that 100-yard bonus. And it's kind of scary because I think Brady will trust him the most because he's returning and Godwin's still kind of banged up. But I'm going to be a lot lower on not Godwin, but a lot lower on Evans in the field. I don't like him in the captain spot. I do like Julio. I'm not doing the Gage thing, but Julio and Godwin, I think Godwin's going to play not even full snaps, but I think he can have a huge impact when he's out there. That's why I have an issue captaining some of these Bucs, because there's like Godwin might not be fully healthy. I don't really love playing Evans, so why am I going to put him in the captain spot? And then that's why only Fournette's like the only guy that I'm really leaning towards.
Yeah, Fournette, he was definitely getting some trash talk to him. What do you think here, Rubio? What are you doing about maybe a little Leonard Fournette? Is it Uncle Lenny season? Is he too fat? What's your overall takeaway here on how to handle Leonard Fournette and some of these other Bucs in the captain slot?
My first instinct when he came into training camp was, holy shit, Leonard Fournette is on his James Harden vibe. But I think it was a little overblown. I'm not going to lie. I think it's one of those things where he was a top running back last year, and he's been a pass catching monster. We know how much Brady loves to use these running backs in the passing game. My fear is that Giovanni Bernard and Rachaad White get a bigger role than we're expecting. However, I think, if there's a chance, like I think the Cowboys kind of roll tonight. If there's a chance, I probably want to run it back with one of these running backs. I think like a guy like Rachaad White could go off in a blowout or something like that, where he just gets 5 catches, 50 yards and something like that. But Lenny is a guy where I'm kind of looking at in some builds as the lone run back, because he could easily score the one touchdown I think that Bucs score, if I'm playing a Cowboys lopsided script, and he could be a guy who catches 4 passes in that same process. So he's kind of a guy who checks a lot of the boxes. I don't really like a lot of these Bucs wide receivers too, because we're going to see Godwin on a pitch count. We're going to see Russell Gage kind of be affected by that. We don't even know how much Julio Jones is really going to play. So you're kind of left with limited options. Like Cameron Brate and Kyle Rudolph are going to split snaps at tight end as well, in terms of like who's number 1, who's number 2. So really, it kind of leaves Leonard Fournette as one of the few guys who you can really trust in this Bucs team. And that's why I'm going to end up liking him. I didn't want to come in playing him, but as the more I built, I was like, wow, he's like one of the few guys I can trust here.
Yeah. And I think, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but last year we thought, okay, Bernard's going to do some of the passing downs, but he really didn't do that much. I mean, like when it was like 3rd and like 20, yes, that's Gio. But when it's like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, no, they're putting out Lenny out there. They're putting Lenny's fat ass out there, and he's catching a lot of passes. And I mean, Greg kind of went back to that if he scores a 1 touchdown too. But I think on 3rd down, it's mostly Lenny unless it's super long. And I don't know if they trust White yet.
I will say with Giovanni Bernard, he did get hurt in the middle of the year. You know that as being a Bucs fan.
I'm talking about the beginning of the year.
And his role dissipated. But Gio, when he was healthy, had 2 catches, 9 catches. A game where he didn't have any, then 2. So I mean, he's a guy who's definitely going to. I think. Why keep a vet like him on the roster if you're not going to utilize him, especially at the start of the season? And that's my angle with Gio. Yeah, but he's number 3 on the depth chart, and Rachaad White is number 2. So that's something to keep note.
Kurt, were you going to respond?
Yeah, I mean, I think White's 2 on the depth chart because he'll kind of like spell Lenny, and then like because you all seen it on Madden, like you'll have a guy 2 on the depth chart, and then he'll be like your 4th guy will be your 3rd down running back. That's the same way NFL teams do it. They'll have their 3rd string guy. Like he's a 3rd string guy. If these 2 guys get hurt, yeah, he'll be the 1st and 2nd down back. But this guy's not going to play much on 1st and 2nd downs unless we're down big, stuff like that. So I think that's why White's 2nd. I think we'll see a little bit of White today, but I think it's mostly going to be Lenny on power downs, and then bring out Gio when it's like 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're right about. Obviously, Lenny's going to get a ton of work. I think he'll be perfectly fine. I guess let's talk a little bit about when you play the captains. Like, what are some unique captain routes to go? Right, like so I was kind of looking at the slate, and some things I was thinking about was like, okay, first of all, like if these quarterbacks likely get some ownership, right? I mean, everyone loves to play some Tom Brady. Let's look at what some of the ownerships are projected, right? You assume Brady and Dak are both going to be very high owned. And if you obviously play those 2 guys, well, you're not going to have a lot of salary left to work with. So what's your thoughts on maybe like in the captains, like playing one of like the quarterbacks in the captain, or playing like one of the like a different pass catcher, and then fading the opposite quarterback, right? Or maybe playing like the running back. Let's say he plays Ezekiel Elliott in the captain slot. If Zeke goes for a monster game, and then Dak might just be chilling a little bit, right? Not doing as much. And then you can obviously just have that fade. And that's a way to start and get you a pretty unique path, because let's say that 70% of the field has Dak Prescott in the flex. Well, if he's not in the winning lineup, that's 70% of the people that cannot win. That's just pretty simple. So then all you got to do is fight with 30%. So what's some of your guys' thoughts on that? Like as like a key fade, who are some of the guys that you would be considering as key fades on this slate? Let's start with you, Kurt.
I hate to say it.
And it doesn't even be a key fade. It could be like, hey, like a risky fade. Like I know you said it when you did the showdown slate for Florida State, right? You basically played a guy that was like had the Q tag, Ontario Wilson, and like you made like kind of like a big balls play, right? That could be a big balls play, making a huge fade like that. Is there anyone that sticks out to you like that, Kurt?
I'm gonna be really low on Mike Evans. I'm telling you, I can't say fade Mike Evans because balls. I guess I'm definitely not gonna have any Russell Gage. But for Dallas, like I mean, who do you really fade? They only got like 4 options. It's really, I mean, if you're MMing, if you're doing 150, I think you don't have to really X out one of the Dallas guys. I think you just take your hard stance on the Tampa Bay guys. I mean, I don't. So I guess you have to choose your Facebook. I mean, but mine would be obviously I'm not on Russell Gage. I'm not playing the door in the tight end crap. And I don't really like Gio. So I just play Leonard, Godwin, Julio, and be a lot low on Mike Evans, really low. So I guess Mike.
So it sounds like if you were, I mean, not saying you're going to fade him for sure, but if you are going to be underweight on a guy, right, it's Mike Evans.
Yeah.
What about you, Rubio? Who's some of the guys that you're looking at there? Obviously, we got the Showdown playbook, so I can always pull that up, right? You got a note of key fades. So, Rubio, give away some of the content, right? Tell the people a little bit about the Showdown playbook, and then go into some of those key fades that you got.
Yeah, so I'll dive in real quick, but Jerker did put in the chat that Kyle Rudolph is inactive today. That's kind of news to me. I was planning on him being active, so that means Cade Otton will slot in as the Bucs number 2 tight end, I believe. But that's 200 value there. But for the playbook, I try and list everyone who's active. Sometimes I might miss the guy who gets playing time. I did it the other day with that Kyron Williams, that guy for the Rams. It ended up not mattering at all, but I try and put everyone in, try and get an opinion on people. Like even Cavante Turpin tonight might have a share. I haven't even looked if he's active yet. But for key fades, is he active?
He's an elite returner if he's active. We remember that.
See, there we go. And that works well with my Cowboys defense core piece. So I go over all the key plays, guys I like in order. Mark them if they're a captain guy for me or not. And then if I prefer them on FanDuel or DraftKings, then I have my fade section. Like there's a guy up here on my fade section tonight. His name is Tom Brady. You might have heard of him before. I try and take stances. I mean, I do the NBA stuff all the time too, but like I try and take stands. And the biggest way to take a stand is fading a 70% dude who I think is going to suffer behind a bad O-line tonight. And I put my reasoning in the thing. And I said, when he carves the Cowboys up, you can at me, but we'll wait a couple hours for that.
Yeah, I don't mind it, right? I'm trying to figure out which quarterback I would maybe want to fade. And then I was thinking, can I just fade both? Like, how crazy is that? Like, I mean, it could work. I don't think it's crazy because here's why. Let's say this is the script. Let's say the Cowboys are up and they're leading and they're just ground and pounding it, right? With Ezekiel Elliott, they're doing it with Tony Pollard. Well, let's say if that's the case, yes, Tom Brady's trailing. Let's say with that line, he happens to struggle. I'm not saying he will, but let's just say it happens. Well, if it happens, then you're going to get a lot of PPR points, right? Like you're going to get a lot of those from Fournette and some of these other guys where I could just see both the quarterbacks not being on the winner in that way. And that's a really unique route. Again, I'm not saying put this in your 50-50s, head-to-heads, cash games, but we're trying to talk through different strategies. We're trying to figure out what is a way that can be unique without being stupid, right? Now, if you put like one of these $200 captains that's going to play one snap in there, yeah, you're probably making a stupid team, but we're just trying to think through different scenarios. And it doesn't even have to be that. Maybe it's just saying, let's say you're on SaberSim. Let's say you decide to group away with your, in the optimizer, you group away Brady and Dak Prescott. Never have them both on each team. Well, that's a good way to kind of start making some uniqueness. That way you're not having as many duplicates and kind of changing some stuff out. So we got Game Theory in the chat. It says, I am fading Brady. Hey, that's okay, Game Theory. Do whatever you want to do, right? But like you are going to have to fade something. You are going to have to make some kind of decisions. And we're just talking through those, right? So definitely think it's worth doing that. Do want to mention, guys, please hit that like, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. Also want to mention our code NFL15. Get you 15% off our content. Get you a RUBIO Showdown playbook. Get you Big T's player pool. Get you Big T's content for all the sports. Check out Kurt doing Summer League when we're grinding that this summer. Obviously, it's not that time.
Coming up, baby.
Yep. We got college football that we've been doing, and we got it all over here at Run Pure. So if you're a sports fan, this is the place for you. Great time to sign up to join Run Pure Sports. Again, use that code NFL15. Get you 15% off. Rubio, let's shift back over to you and ask you another question here. So on this slate, who are some of the skill position guys you really like? I know you talked about CeeDee Lamb. He sounds like someone that you're really going to be on. Maybe give a take on like the Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard situation, because they are way too close in price, in my opinion. And Tony Pollard feels like this guy that's like always a trendy pick from the DFS industry. And then out of nowhere, you're like, why is Tony Pollard higher owned than Ezekiel Elliott? And like, I think when like the prices were like 2K versus 8K, it made some sense, but like the price is getting really close. And Jerry Jones has proven to us, he does not care. He is going to feed Zeke. So I'm kind of leaning on maybe considering Zeke at the captain slot, especially at the start of the season when maybe he's not as fat. Maybe he's also not as banged up with those ankles that sometimes are beating him up. So give me some takes on these Cowboys position players, including like Dalton Schultz, throwing Noah Brown as a cheap option, obviously that could emerge big time this year.
So you say it best. Zeke is healthy right now. It's the beginning of the season. He should be able to get going. I like him more through like those little dump off passes, which they're doing. And without Amari Cooper, those touches might go to him. Without Michael Gallup, even too, as well. So these touches might go a little bit to like Pollard and Zeke a little bit in the passing game. But we all know that this Bucs rushing defense is pretty good. So you're kind of hoping that Zeke gets it done in the passing game and then pounces one into the end zone. But he's definitely a guy I like just because of the fact that, like Kurt said, there's not many guys for the Cowboys who are really going to contribute. You kind of have like this really narrow scope of who's going to do something. And Dalton Schultz is another guy who I really like. And Kurt mentions it. The Bucs are weak over the middle. Dalton Schultz plays over the middle, and Dalton Schultz is the number 2 receiving option tonight. So I'm really high on Dalton Schultz. Like I love him on FanDuel too. That FanDuel price is 4,000 lower than a guy like Zeke and stuff. So you can really save a lot of dough. I know that PPR and all that, but he's a great red zone threat too. And then I'll mention this Tony Pollard thing. So he might play a little bit of slot tonight. They just want to get him out in the field. I know they played it a little bit in college, but here's the thing. I only expect like 10 touches or so. I know he'll probably be involved. If he does get touches, it might be through like 4 or 5 catches. So it's definitely worth a look, but I'm going to prefer Zeke over him all day here. I have a lot of salary to work with. I'm already having builds right now where I'm just fiddling as we're going here and I'm leaving like 1,200. So I don't really feel the urge to go like Pollard over Zeke because I don't really need the salary. And if I'm going to make a tournament build where maybe the Cowboys are chasing a little bit, they might lean for Pollard, but I'm here for the Cowboys bash script. And that's what I'm going to rely on here.
All right, the Cowboys bash script it is. Kurt, what about you? Talk about some of these Cowboys guys. It sounds like you're not as high as in the Bucs. So talk up some of these Cowboys guys and how you're handling the script as well.
So I think one of these $200 pass catchers for Dallas is going to score tonight. Simi Fioco, they love going to him in the red zone. He's a long guy. I swear to God, they did like 13 goal line phase him in the preseason. Preseason doesn't mean much, but hey, guess what? They've also done it in the regular season with him. I really love Jake Ferguson. The coach is talking him up. I believe they're going to do a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight end sets. Jake Ferguson is a good receiving tight end. He can also block a little bit. He's $200. He looked good to me in preseason. He can catch the ball. So $200. That's why I don't have an issue paying for Brady and the quarterbacks because I got all these salary saving pass catchers I want to get a piece of. I think I'm going to set a rule to have one of these cheap Cowboys pass catchers in my lineup because they don't have anywhere to throw the ball. To run that back with, I think that also means Zeke or Tony Pollard are going to get like 5 or 6. One of them is going to have like 8 catches or something like that. I don't want to have one or like I've messed with having 2 of them in a lineup. I just don't like the way it looks. So I'm going to have set a rule where only one. But that goes to say, like, if they get up early and Pollard has like 8 catches in the first half and he gets a receiving touchdown, then all of a sudden Zeke's running down the second half, then you can have both of them. So that's where I'm leaning. I really want one of these cheap pass catchers. I'm taking a stand. I love Jake Ferguson and Simi Fioco.
Cool. Well, listen, I didn't even know that you were considering a guy down there for cheap. That's pretty interesting. If you do play those builds, like which captain are you like looking to put in there with him? Or is he just like that last piece villain? Are you doing it with the Dak captain? What's your kind of thoughts on that, Kurt?
So the first one was with CD Lamb, but you can definitely do it with Dak captain because I feel like, I mean, if you don't do it with CD, like no one's going to have Dak captain and have a $200 pass catcher. I feel like they're not going to do that. And then also I'm lower on Brady, but with all the uncertainty of who's going to be kind of catching like the focal point receiving wise for the Bucs, I don't mind if you do use him to captain Brady because I have all this salary to use. So if he does go off, then you're going to have like what, 7% captain, maybe less.
All right, cool. Rubio, here's a question for you. Let's talk. And if you guys have questions in the chat, feel free to fire them away. Definitely happy to answer them for you, but we got to get those likes up in order to do that. That's the other thing I just realized. We're at 76 likes with almost 400 watching. Tell you one thing, I'm not answering those chat questions unless we get that for one. And we're not giving out any plays too, or at least plays of the day, I should say, right? Our favorite ones that we're definitely locked in on. They're our official plays of the day. And some guys that you can get in the premium content in the course. So Rubio, I love to ask though, are you doing a 1-5, a 5-1, a 4-2, a 2-4? Is it a 3-3? What kind of day is it for you, Rubio?
It's a 5-1. I truly cannot fathom how this line is in the Bucs' favor. I'm struggling. It makes me think that I don't know football because I clearly don't based my lineups today. But I will say the fact that I think this Bucs team is just going to struggle today. I'm sorry, Kurt, and you seem to be on hand in hand with me here. I think this offensive line is going to be a rude awakening for Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady is the GOAT. I'm not going to bash him or anything like that, but I think he's going to have limited time. I think his receiving options are a bit thin. I'm just going to go for the Cowboys. I think they kind of take it on early, take the bull by the horns, and just kind of bash them in. I think 5-1 Cowboys in all my builds.
All right. Well, 5-1 Cowboys. That's interesting because I've thought about it. But I don't know if I'm doing it yet. That's definitely what I'm considering still. What about you, Kurt? What's your kind of setup? Is it 5-1? I mean, you don't like the Bucs as much tonight, so I assume you're more on the Cowboys. What's your thoughts?
I think I'm going 4-2. My first build was 4-2. I feel most comfortable with 4-2.
Is it 4-2 Cowboys or?
It's 4-2 Cowboys, yeah, because I feel like I'm just gonna. There's only so many guys the Cowboys have, whereas the Bucs have so many options. Like, I mean, we don't really, like I said, we don't know what they're doing at wide receiver. So I'm just going to take a stab on one of those and run it back with Fournette.
All right, we got the content is up, right? The showdown stuff. We got some cores piling in. We can go through some of them right now and discuss, right? These are some of the things that you get at Run Pure Sports. Obviously, it's a free show right now, but if you want to sign up to check it all out, you can sign up now using that code NFL15. Gets you 15% off. Rubio score. He's got CeeDee Lamb at captain. He's got Dak Prescott in there. And then he's got the Cowboys defense, which is, very, very surprising to see in there. But hey, Tom Brady, he's great. Don't get me wrong. But hey, if he's getting pressure on him, let's say there is pressure from that Cowboys D, he's falling down, right? He's not going to be able to maneuver away. He's not Lamar Jackson. So he's not going to be able to get away from those situations. Hoop scores up. He's got Leonard Fournette and captain. He's got Dak Prescott. And he's got your boy, Kurt. He's got Mr. Simi Fehoko.
I love it, Hoop. Let's go.
Uncle T's got the Lamb captain. Kurt's got the Lamb captain as well. Kurt, why don't you talk about, you got Lamb captain, you got Ferguson in the flex, and then you got Fournette. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I don't know if you talked too much about Ferguson so far.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're going to run 12 personnel. I hate that I like Peyton Hendershot so bad. Who's the third string tight end, so I think he'll get a little bit of work. But overall, I do think they like Ferguson more. So I'm just going to kind of put all my eggs in that basket. He's going to be on the field. He's $200. And is there a team in the NFL who throws the random tight ends more in the NFL than the Cowboys? It's always like the random tight ends when they're down there, I swear. So it's $200. I feel like he can get like 2 catches for like 30 yards and possibly a tutter, maybe even upside for more. Because like I said, you attack these Todd Bowles defenses over the middle. If they're going to put a safety on Schultz or someone because he's actually became a threat in this league, then Jake Ferguson's going to have a lowly linebacker guarding him. He should be able to cook him. Jake Ferguson, baby. And he was a draft pick too, so they do have some stock in him.
All right, Rubio. I guess let's. You obviously talked about the Showdown playbook a little bit. Let's go and look at some of these other Showdown guys that you're looking at. I guess with that news that happened, right? There was news on Kyle Rudolph being out. What has that adjusted for you? I know you talked about you weren't expecting it. Does that change anything? Obviously, we know one piece of news in Showdown can change it all.
So it pumps me up a little bit on Cameron Brate. I was afraid that Brate wouldn't get as heavy of a workload. I thought they'd do this whole like, oh, he's like a beta option. He might get 50-50 snaps with Rudolph, or they might share the field the whole time. But what this tells me is that without Rudolph, they might be relying on Cade Otton, which is a great tight end out of Washington, I believe. I feel like he played college football for like 6 years or so. But I think Brate becomes a guy that I'm kind of high on. I just think that Brady loves his tight ends. And if you guarantee me 100% or, 90% of the snaps at that tight end position for 5-2, I'm going to be intrigued. And I like I said, I just want a pass catcher as a run back. I don't really need much else. And Brate fits that mold for me.
Yeah, definitely could see Brate having a good game. We know that obviously a Julio Jones could be someone that could like steal some stuff at 5K. I could see him being more used at like the goal line for some like leverage situations. So tons of stuff to look at over there. We got the likes, they're moving up, but guys, please hit that like again. We'll answer some questions for you. Let's do one from Jenna Sandy. Can you play both Schultz and Ferguson together? Kurt, what's your thoughts on that?
I do have that build. I think it could happen. Like I said, he's $200. So from Ferguson, all we need is like 2 for 30 or something like that. And then guys, they don't have. I don't know how much they're going to trust these receivers, and they love to run the ball. So what do you run the ball out of? 12 personnel. I mean, come on, it has to happen. Yeah. And another thing, I think with the Kyle Rudolph news to me, speaking of 12 personnel, you'd think with how depleted the Bucs offensive lines got this year that they would want Kyle Rudolph in there so they can run 12 personnel, max protection for Brady who can't move. So that kind of tells me that they're more confident in this offensive line than we are. Because why would you? Was he a coach's decision inactive? I believe that's how I read it, but I'm not for sure.
Not sure. That's a Rubio question. Did you
Rudolph?
Was he a coach's decision inactive?
Yeah, just inactive. I don't think it was injury or anything.
I mean, that tells me that they're fully confident in this offensive line, and so they know more than me. Because I mean, K. Dotton is definitely impressed in the offseason. I mean, he got here fast, but the rookie can block. But still, like, you'd want that extra pass protection because they do not want Cameron Brate there. So I think that it means that their offensive line is a little bit stronger than what we're thinking.
All right, let me ask another question here. It's from the chat, and I have this chat too. I have this question too. How do you feel about Zeke and Pollard in the same lineup? Rubio, let's go to you about that, and like maybe express like, can you do it with the captain, or is it like just both in the flex? Like, how would you kind of handle those two?
I think if you're playing one, they got to or playing both. They got to both be in the flex. I think they eat into each other a little bit too much for one to pop off completely with the upside. But I don't hate it. I like Dalton Schultz a ton, and they're in between like Zeke and Pollard, so I'm just able to go Schultz in these builds. However, like if you're thinking of being frisky and think Pollard plays a little bit more out of the slot, I think it's doable, but it's not something that I advise. I hate playing multiple people at the same position. I always advertise in F1 and Formula One and stuff. Never play teammates together. It's kind of one of those rules where I'm not going to play guys at the same position, especially at running back position. It's tough. It's tough for me, but I can kind of see the appeal for Pollard and Zeke just because Pollard might play a little bit more out of the slot, but not my cup of tea.
All right, not Rubio's cup of tea there. Kurt, how about you? How about you talk about it a little bit? I mean, you obviously like this script and you like little 12 personnel, and if you got 12 personnel, you're establishing the run. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would do it both in the flex. I'm coming on to it a little bit. I didn't like how it looked when I first built it, but the more I'm coming on to, if you are following Rubio's script of 5-1, I see no reason why you can't play both of those guys. Because I think Pollard will see maybe 3, 4, 5 snaps in the slot. And, there's a chance both these guys score. That's definitely possible with how condensed this offense is. So if you're doing the 5-1 script Rubio's doing, I think you'd have no problem going both in the flex. Yeah,
let's do this other thing. Let's talk about this. How about leaving salary on the table? Is that your route today? Is that something you guys are considering? Let's talk about that a little bit. Rubio, you shook your head. So give me your takes on leaving salary on the table. I think you're on mute. Rubio.
We don't have Cooper Kupp here. I got to beat you to the punch there. We don't have Cooper Kupp. We don't got Josh Allen on the slate. We got a bunch of guys 10-6 or below. We don't have a 12K guy on here stealing all our salary, forcing you to feel like you have to use it all. I just made a really nice build. Like I said, I had 1,200 left. This one has 1,000 left. I'm more than comfortable leaving like 1,000 on the table. Like, we could argue that Zeke and Pollard don't have a ton of difference in their projection. And there's 1,400 that you can leave right there if you wanted to go that route. I think the way to get different tonight, especially like I just think it's just leaving 1,000 salary. It's just so doable here. I get all the Cowboys weapons that I like. And again, I know I'm on a different script. Maybe if I'm playing more of a competitive match, like I might want 3-3 where I'm using more of the salary. But in these Cowboys bash scripts, especially with the Cowboys defense, I have so much salary to work with. And it's just so easy for me to be like, oh, I can leave 1,000, I can leave 2,000 and get me in line for that solo shipper.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think leaving salary on the table, not a bad idea. Definitely something that you should be considering. And again, ways to be unique. But again, you also don't have to just like be unique to be unique and like lose money, right? It's okay to like, it's like kind of MMA in a way, right? Like in MMA, if you chop with 3 people, like it's not the end of the world, right? You just want to make sure you're not on that team that's like, just basically has like, you're winning like what, like $800 or something. It's like an absolute just like train, right? Those are the ones maybe you want to stay away from a little bit. I know one thing about Big T is he's really good at knowing the slates that he's like, hey, like, I know that this is like a pretty like optimal team that I've seen. And like, maybe I only win like back my money, but putting it on one entry, he just knows, he looks and he says, I can kind of see that just like such an obvious slate that I might need to do it. I don't think it's one of those slates, but that's some of the benefits of signing up here at Run Pure Sports, be able to check out everything that's going on, be able to check out Big T's player pool. And let's give that a look. Do we think Big T's player pool is up yet? Rubio, do you think he's got it ready to go?
No shot. I think he's hung over still from his win. I'm kind of curious.
What about you, Kurt?
Yeah,
Kurt, what's your guess?
There's no chance. It'll probably be up at slightly before 8 o'clock. That's it. That's the fastest.
The pool is up, boys.
That's
captain,
bullshit.
The captain's up, the cores, it's all up. Big T and Big T I think he went to the Bengals game today. I mean, I saw
he outsourced that information. I'm calling it now.
Oh wow.
What?
He gave it to some other people and said, "You do it. I guarantee it." No, I'm playing. He doesn't do that. But
no, so this is big. This is what we'll do. We'll do this. I'll give a little bit of the goods away. I'm not giving away the core. Not giving away the core at all. If you want to sign up again, use that code NFL15. get you 15% off. Our guy Big T just won $500K in baseball. He's a FanDuel world champion. That's for baseball, but still, he crushes every single sport. He's a showdown king, showdown goat. So you want to check out his content. Here's some of his fades. Let's go with that. Chris Godwin, Kyle Rudolph, who he probably had before the inactive stuff. So Bucks D, Cam Brate, Jake Ferguson, sorry, Kurt. And then he's got Gio Bernard. So those are some of his fades that he's obviously looking at. Obviously, when you see all the other guys that he has, I'm not going to tell you his captains. If you want to see his captains, go sign up at Run Pure and check him out. Utilities, I believe he kind of puts it in like the order of kind of how he gets exposure to them. So, hey, that's how you can use his content. He's got his core up. Definitely worth checking out. You do not want to miss out on that over here at Run Pure Sports. And again, guys, please like and subscribe to this video. That helps us out a ton. We got, look at this. We got Uncle T in the chat. He's had his player pool up for almost an hour. So, man, you guys were both wrong.
Wow.
Kurt, and any thoughts on that?
First of all, what is Jake Ferguson coming on that he would need to highlight him to be on a fade list? Is Jake Ferguson garnering ownership that I don't know about?
Big T was just being very thorough this week, I guess. You know what I mean? He's had all this time.
Back to leaving salary. I think it can be so uncomfortable for people. So for you people out there that it is uncomfortable with, build your favorite Ezekiel lineup, take out Zeke, put in Pollard, and just press save as quick as you can. Don't even look at it. That's how you do it. Another way, if build your favorite Noah Brown lineup, who's going to be chalky, take him out, put in Simi Fioco, save it before you even see it. That's the best way to do it for your. If you just can't stomach doing it, that's the best way to do it, because would we be surprised if Simi Fioco outscores Brown? No. And can we see that lineup with Brown being the optimal possible? Yes. Swap in Fioco for Brown. Boom.
See, I love that. And like, not to do a shameless plug, but when I shipped Summer League because of you, Kurt, I just threw in Adonis Arms over like, what was it, Christian Brown. I left like 5,600 in salary. No one would have fucking done that on a Summer League slate. And it ships. Like, these guys don't matter. You just need one guy to outscore the other. And if it's a chalk build, that's just one way where, like, honestly, there's a 30% chance maybe Fihoko outscores Brown tonight. It's probably like in the cards, and you make yourself unique from 30 other lineups. It's just so easy to do. And I love that piece of advice there where you can just take out one player. It doesn't mean you have to construct your build to specifically leave salary, but it just requires one player to outperform the other. And that happens a lot more times than we actually end up thinking.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, like, an idea you can do it with, and I want to see like the salary difference and just kind of, because I think this makes a lot of sense, but like, let's look at the Bucks, right? Obviously, like Big T, for instance, has Godwin as a fade, right? He's got Godwin as a fade. Why not take a Chris Godwin team that you have and just change it to Russell Gage? Like, that's it. That's all. And I mean, they could easily slide into a different role for him. So, hey, those are ways that you can do it. Now, of course, I understand Chris Godwin is better than Russell Gage. I'm not saying he's not, but these are just little ways that you can do it. Maybe it's changing Russell Gage for Julio Jones and leaving, 2,500 on the table or whatever that gap is. So I think I'm gonna give the captain ownerships right now when I'm doing this, or not ownerships, salaries. But you get the point that I'm getting across here, right, guys? Like, that's the way that you can do it. So Anthony has a question in the chat. Let's answer his question. Fournette or Lamb in the captain? Let's go to you, Kurt. Which one do you like more?
If I had to choose, that's tough. Give me Lamb, because I think they're going to be crafty enough with him. I think he'll move around the field, and he can. Oh my God, he'll have like 15 targets. So give me Lamb. Unless you really need the salary, I don't mind going for Fournette. But my second build had Lamb at captain, so Lamb.
All right, Lamb it is there in that spot. Rubio, I'm sure he's the same. Again, those are in their course. Patrick Rice asks, any sneaky Giovanni Bernard love? What's your thoughts there on that, Kurt?
Greg, that's Greg's boy. I mean, I don't need the Gio love.
Let's go to Greg then. You don't need to talk about him. Greg, kick it off. You're on mute, you donkey.
No, you guys say Greg. I can't answer to that. I'm playing. But
Rubio, go.
I think the fact that I love Gio. Gio played here in Cincinnati for a long time, but he did get moved down to third on the depth chart. The more I'm looking, I'd rather just go to Rachaad White. But he should have a pass catching role. Maybe if you're comfortable with 2 to 3 catches, like he did have at the beginning of last season, with her first few games. But I think Rachaad White ends up kind of taking a little bit of this role more than I thought. And I'd rather just go to Noah Brown, who's just right above Giovanni Bernard. We know Noah Brown's probably going to play the whole game. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm heavy on the Cowboys again. But I do like Rachaad White a little bit more than Gio and Brown over both.
All right, fair enough. We got some other things in the chat. Our boy Butto Jenkins says, can you let Big T know that I say hello? And he's trying to at me in the chat. He did not successfully typed the @ maybe the beers are flowing over there. But Big T always knows that you are excited to see him. Don't you worry. Next time I see him in person, I will
I just
formally
texted him
say
and told him.
I will formally say Butthole Jenkins misses you. So cool. Let's see. So Jenna says, I think I'm using Mangone's idea of fading both QBs. Fournette and Brait are my bucks. So no problem, Jenna. Happy to help you out. If you haven't signed up at Run Pure, Jenna, let's say you're not a member. Go use that code NFL15. Get you 15% off. You get to check out all of our content over there. I get to check out my single entry 3-max stuff that I like to do. I didn't do it for tonight. Sundays will be tough, but I'll have it together for you tomorrow for that Broncos slate against Seattle. So be sure to check that out. I'll put some stuff on Twitter as well for some little tips about it. So we'll definitely talk about that tomorrow. We won't have a show. We'll have a show on this channel, but the three of us won't be there. You'll have Big T and you're going to have Whistles Go Woo. So you better check that out. It's going to be a great show. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel right now. That way you get notified when that show goes live tomorrow, because you are not going to want to miss out on that. Imagine having a chance to ask Whistles and Big T some showdown questions. Like, you can't miss it. You got to be here live for it. It's going to be awesome. Again, also like that video. We appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. Rubio. So I've asked a ton of questions, but now I just want to say, like, what do you want to talk about? Is there anything
I want to talk about the last time Whistles was on a show with Big T? The entirety of RPS shipped with Cowboys defense. I don't know when that was. I know that that is for tomorrow's slate between the Broncos and Seahawks, but the last time he was on a show, he talked Big T into playing that Cowboys defense on a showdown slate, and sure enough, they ended up scoring. I think it was like a 5-1 build against the Bears, something like that. I was kind of ridiculous where they played the quarterback against it and shipped. So, I mean, if you want to talk about good mojo, you want to talk about a good time tomorrow, I mean, it's going to be here on the YouTube channel. I know I'm going to be tuned in.
Oh, yeah, definitely worth tuning in. Kurt, are you going to be tuning in for that show?
Oh, I got to. And what didn't he captain the quarterback and then play the defense, which no one else was doing? That's what it was, right?
That's exactly what it was.
And the Cowboys play again tonight. If it was the Cowboys, I can't remember correctly. I just remember
It was. I think Taysom Hill was on the slate too. I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, I thought it was a Taysom Hill slate. I'm pretty sure. Maybe, yeah, New Orleans. That's what he said. New Orleans. It was a Taysom Hill slate. I know that for a fact.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because Taysom ran it. It was a running quarterback.
Yeah, Taysom was the captain. That's why, Whistles, Big T, they're all just arm in arm shipping because, it's just Whistles always hits and Big T always hits when Taysom Hill hits. I mean, it's always together. So
makes a lot of sense when a running back's playing quarterback to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And Taysom's always good for those showdown slates. Kurt, do you have any questions? Like, I'm not going to say we should get on out of here already, but I don't know. I'm trying to see if we got any other questions to talk about. Kurt, what do you got that we haven't discussed so far?
I think in that 5-1 build that Rubio's talking about, I think if the one Buccaneer you have is Gio, like what if the Cowboys do come out and just get intense pressure and we can't, like the Bucs can't do anything about it? Rudolph's not there, so not like we can go mass protection with Cameron Brait. I mean, what if they do come out and it's just a bashing? You can play Gio, he'll get like 8 catches. I'm not going to do it. I don't like 5-1. I think the Bucs have more pride than that. But if you do, that would be the one buck you could run it back with, because in a true blowout, it'll be Giovanni Bernard.
Was that some Borat impression?
Giovanni Bernard.
That had to be a Borat. That wasn't Italian. That wasn't even fucking close. Nah, man. God damn. That was sounded like
cultured as you, Mr. Soccer.
I'm
not as cultured as you, Mr. Soccer.
Oh, come on now. You can't. You sounded like fucking Borat. That's Kazakhstan or whatever.
It did sound like a Borat impression, I will say. I'm sure the chat will catch up here soon. Listen, we didn't get enough likes for me to give out any plays or anything. We're at 500 people and only 115. And I've asked over and over. I'm not going to keep asking for it. Okay. I'm just not. So unless you just prove it to me right now, hit that like one last time, and then that's it. Obviously it's going to be a fun showdown slate. We got tons of content over for you here at Run Pure. Big T's player pool. It's already up. We got core plays. Let's see if we got any updates on those. Let's refresh the page and see what we got here for you guys. I see Glock put his core in. Glock has the infamous tight end in the captain slot. I'm not going to tell you what tight end it is. If you want it, use that code NFL15. Get you 15% off. You can sign up to find out. But Glock is doing the tight end and the captain. We know those were very profitable last year, putting that captain in there. So yeah. No other changes. I don't see K Fallick is in there. I see K Fallick's he's got 2 tight ends in the captain slots, and he's got like of his 3, he's like, here's 1 on 3, here's 1 on 3. So seems like Fallick is on the captain route as well. So yeah. I believe Hoop had Fournette as the captain. I don't know if he didn't have Lamb before. So he's got Fournette in the captain slot, like I said before.
Ooh,
Kurt.
JS Hughes is up. JS Hughes just came out.
Oh, did it? So I'm not on the back end side right now. So Rubio, how about you read it to the people? Let's give away JSUs. I want to hear.
We'll give away JSU's core. How kind are we?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, captain, CeeDee Lamb, and then here's the surprise: Simi Fehoko. It's Simi Fehoko season here at Run Pier, apparently, with Hoop and JSU hand in hand. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have myself some Simi as well. I'm gonna get exposure to it.
Simi's a good blocker too. Simi's a really good blocker on the outside, and we know Dallas loves that. I'm pretty sure he's a better block, like a way better blocker than Noah Brown.
Also, when you are a good blocker, you get to play the game more, right? Like I'm not saying Cam Akers did not play the other day because he missed one really bad block, right? I didn't know I was tilting someone for it, but like when you see guys just not pass protect or do things like the little things correct, that's why they're not in there, right? That's why people tilt like, this guy's such a great pass catcher. Why is he not in the game? Well, he probably can't pass protect. And like, that is just the reason why. He's probably made some mistakes throughout the game. And that's why when I see someone make a small mistake in like pass blocking or something like that, I'm like very tilted. It's just like when someone fumbles, you're like, okay, I'm probably going to miss him for the game. Or like when James Cook fumbles in that Bills game, now I'm like, oh, I got to sweat this Singletary bet a little bit harder because Cook isn't going to cut into some production here and there. That helped me get it home, but we still got it home. It was okay. Still got that free bet home. So I was very happy about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't got too much else. Rubio, how about you give us your final thoughts and then we'll probably just get on out of here.
I think my final thoughts, I think I'm not high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this game. And Brady is one of the all-time greats, one of my favorite players. So I say this from the heart. He's going to get a rude awakening tonight. I think this Bucs offensive line has seen a carousel of changes. I think those carousel of changes are going to suffer tonight. And we just saw some injuries in the preseason as well. I fear that Tom Brady's last great moment has already passed us. And I think that begins with a monstrous performance by this Cowboys defense, who is notorious for forcing turnovers. And I think that they are going to pick off Tom Brady, not once, not twice, but Joe Burrow would even be impressed. 3 interceptions tonight, or I think Joe Burrow had 4 today. That's how shitty it was. Anyway, but I think it's going to be a turnover fest for the Bucs. That's why I'm high in the Cowboys defense. That's why I'm able to play a Cowboys defense over a guy like Noah Brown. And I just think that Cowboys come in here, take care of business at home, and the Bucs go home and 0-1. That's what my take. That's my final thought.
All right, that's your final thought. Kurt, let's get your final thoughts. Hit me.
I got 3 things. First thing, I think one of these sub 1K pass catchers for the Cowboys score. I'm taking a stand on that. I'm going to put a rule that I want one of them. Number 2, I know it was a bad day for kickers, but a lot of Tom Brady's teams, they can get in field goal position early. Some things aren't quite in midseason form yet, and they a lot of drives stall out. Ryan Suckup, 4K. Could see him getting like 14, 15 points here. Don't mind that at all. It's not like this game's going to be some shootout like we saw last Thursday or past 4 days ago Thursday. And then one more thing was Fournette is just – we've seen him get there in so many scripts with the Bucs. And the game's slightly out of hand, but not too out of hand, Fournette. If the Bucs are up 3 touchdowns, who has to 2 of the touchdowns? Fournette. He just fits the whole, like, both scripts. So it's just so hard to get away from him. If Fournette's the one that kills me, then so be it. But those are my last 3 takes. Let's ship tonight. Let's get some of this money back, which I actually ended up going even. So can't be mad at it. So, but let's end the week on a huge note. Week 1. Let's go.
All right, we got people talking Cowboys D and captain, which that's probably the time to go, especially when we're like got Tom Brady on the slate. Someone else is asking if Rubio is a Cowboys fan. No, he is not. He is a Bengals fan. And Luce, one last thing. Every time we say Brady is washed, he just eats. I have not said Brady's washed. I want to go on record. I've done it in the past. Did not do it tonight. I just want to make sure. If you thought I did, my apologies, because I did not say that at all. I do think the Cowboys, though, I think it's going to be a good night for them. I think Brady, again, I think he's going to do fine, but I just think when it comes to the points and the actual score, I don't know. I'm going to be more underweight on him. That's all. And it's okay. If you like Brady tonight, I think a great way to maybe be different is be underweight on Dak. Sometimes just like kind of taking some of the highest owned guys and trying to fade them. And, sometimes it's going to work out and sometimes it's not. But I want to try and make these big fades sometimes. That's the kind of ways I like to handle these showdown slates. That's going to wrap it up for us. If you haven't hit that like, please hit it on the way out. Subscribe to the channel so you can check out Big T tomorrow. You can check out Whistles Go Woo. They're going to be talking some DFS for you guys, some showdown. Should be a great time. Also, one last thing. If you are going to sign up, now is the time. You should not wait because prices are going up. Use that code NFL15, get you 15% off for life on your monthly payments. It's the best time to sign up. But for me, Mangone, Rubio, and Kurt, we'll see you guys later.